Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the DNA Podcast. As always, we have DJ Verplu, Alex Wanders, and myself. Who's ready to talk about some dirt racing? We are.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a heck of a week so far.
It's been a heck of a week, boys. Everyone ready for this? It's time for the DNA Podcast.
Here we go, boys. Let's get after it.
Alrighty. So, today we have a lot of racing to talk about, guys.
Lots
of
things happen this weekend.
So first off, before we start, happy Memorial Day. We all know why we have this holiday. Thank you to all you veterans, the families of veterans. We would not be a free country. We would not be able to do this without our veterans. So we just want to thank all of our veterans.
A lot of great, brave young men in the history of our country have died to give us the freedom that we have, so we can all come together and enjoy our racing and enjoy our freedom and our podcasts. And so we thank you if you are serving. Thank you for your service. Thank you for everything you've done for this country. DJ, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, just thanks for your service.
All right, Big Safe, we got a lot to talk about today. We had a huge weekend in motorsports. Why don't you get things started off with what happened out here Wednesday night at the Southern Iowa Speedway?
Yeah, everyone thought it was going to rain, so the car count was not the greatest. It did not look good.
Down,
they were at 38 cars total.
Yes.
I know it's a little sad. Obviously, though, everyone thought it was going to rain. I definitely thought it was going to rain.
Well, I don't even think it was that people thought it was going to rain. I think they just thought we had too much rain, and there's no way.
I think it was both. There was a lot going in there. So
a lot of moisture on the ground.
Yeah. So let's start off. Sport Compacts, we had Trent Orwig winning again. 2 in a row for him now.
Yeah, he's on a good roll to start 2019.
He is, and we know he's watching.
Yeah, thanks for joining in, Trent.
Yeah, thank you, Trent. We have Brandon Allison picking up P2 again. No controversy this week. We're gonna leave that. We're gonna leave that there.
Leave it lay.
Leave it lay. Yeah. We had Jake Houston getting 3rd. We had Billy Kane getting 4th, and Nathan Moody in the 41 machine getting P5.
Awesome.
I don't know exactly how many cars they had in the Sport Compact class.
I believe they had 7.
You might be right.
Like 7 cars.
Then we had our stock cars. Caden Carter picking up the win. Caden Carter getting the win. Nathan Wood got 2nd. Dustin Griffiths 3rd. Mike Brown 4th. And Jason McDaniels picked up the 5th spot. And that was a pretty good race.
As usual, Caden Carter, the Orange Crush, 10cc, gets it done.
They got
it on a roll, man.
I didn't think he was. Honestly, I'm not going to lie. I didn't know if he was going to pick it up there because
he and Nathan Wood had a pretty good race.
Yeah, Wood got out front early there. He was able to stay on the bottom, but he gave him a little bit of a gift of gap getting into 1 and 2, and he was able to just roll. I was talking to Mike Spill, and I said, the only way Carter's probably going to win this race right now is if somehow he can get underneath of him, and apparently that gift of gap was given in 1 and 2, and it was done after that.
Hey,
apparently.
You know what? Sometimes you gotta take what you're given.
Yeah,
opportunity.
That's how you win.
It is a tough track, the Southern Iowa Speedway.
I think what everybody wants to talk about, and I know we all three want to talk about, we want to talk about probably the most thrilling finish to a Sport Mod feature that I personally have ever seen. It's the best modified
feature I've ever seen.
I have to agree.
Yeah, that's Sport Mod race. So we had Carter Vandenberg in the 7V. You guys got to interview him.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, man, I tell you what.
He was pretty pumped after that. That was probably one of the most exciting races I've ever seen. Why don't you break it down, Safe, how it all went down?
Well, first off, the track was it seemed a little on the dry side.
It was a little crummy.
It was mostly, on the bottom, follow the leader.
For the most part.
Jason Bass was out front.
From Fort Dodge, Iowa.
Fort Dodge,
Thank you for coming down and racing with us here, Jason.
Yeah, thank you, Jason.
Hopefully come back.
We had Jason, and then we had Vandenberg and Caden Carter, who started towards the rear, gained a bunch of positions off
10th,
the start.
I think.
Yeah, I think
and
that's
he
right.
gained 7 spots coming into turn 1.
He did. He was fast.
I mean,
filling in for his brother Brayton Carter, who was out of town on business. So
yeah, he was working. So he got up there. Just a great battle between the three. They ended up getting into some lap traffic.
Yeah, that made that race really
lap
Jason,
traffic.
because the problem was he couldn't really roll on the top side. He lost so much. It was so crummy, and that's what happened. Couldn't get around the lap car, and everyone kind of held up, and Carter just said, we're just going to send it, went to the bottom, and boom,
Yeah.
I mean, it was
He
over
did.
after
He
that.
sent
I mean,
it.
He was not afraid
over after that.
Not afraid to ruffle some feathers coming out of that last corner there, but
And, well, that's the thing you can't be. You know, that's the thing. You just got to...
send it. Like
He had about half a Caden's tire on his corner panel there.
he used
Yeah.
the 0-1
Yeah.
car up. There's no doubt
Yeah.
about that.
But that's how it is. I mean, that's how racing's always been. It's always... You
But
just go.
credit to Jason Bass, I think, in the 4 car from Fort Dodge, like we said earlier, he led probably 2/3 of that.
Yeah.
Probably the whole race, other than that last
Yeah,
lap.
other than the last lap, I think.
And see, Carter would have led that whole thing because that initial start, he got a really good start on Bass. And
He did.
They got down into one, and he was ahead, and then I saw there was a yellow. Talking with him, Jason said that they told him that he jumped.
Is that what they said?
That's what they said on the
okay.
receiver. That's what Jason told me.
I wasn't sure what the
So
official
apparently,
ruling on that
apparently
was.
he had jumped. They didn't like it, so they went back, did it again. He got a better start, obviously. So that was the sport mod feature. The hobby stock race, Derek Kirkland.
Didn't catch much of the hobby stock race, to be honest with you. Too pumped up after that.
Yeah, that
early
was,
we
sport
all
mod
were.
race.
that was fun.
Derek Kirkland won in the 2K. Dustin Griffiths got second. Brad Stevens in the 55 got third. Clint Nelson in the 27 got fourth. And Christian Huffman in the 14 got fifth.
That's a guy who I really think before the year's up is going to get his first feature win at the Southern Iowa Speedway, and that'd be Christian Huffman in the 14 car.
Yeah, I think he can get it done. The track was not... I'm not dissing the track. It just was not in the best necessarily shape for racing Wednesday
But you have
night,
to think.
So
But in all reality, you
it
have
was
to
a tough
think. You know,
track.
over the last 5 days leading up to Wednesday night, we had 7-8 inches of rain.
Yeah.
yeah, we did.
I thought it was in real good shape.
I give him credit for just getting the show in, honestly.
I do too.
Exactly.
I mean, they got it done. You know, they had half the pits closed off, and I mean, they were able to get it in. The hobby stock features seemed to be Derek started on the front row, took off, and I mean, from what I saw of it, he had like I don't know about a half a lap.
Half a lap, really. He
At
put a hurt on
At
him,
one
huh?
point, he was a half a lap ahead, and then Dustin closed in the end there.
Okay.
It just got to the point where that's how it went. That's all she wrote.
That's all she
mean,
wrote.
And that's how it goes. I mean, yeah,
Definitely.
I don't know what to say past that.
All things considered, with the circumstances and everything, definitely a pretty good night at Southern Iowa Speedway. A lot more than what I think probably any of us three expected. Probably a lot of other race fans out there. So.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I was pretty impressed with how that went. Honest to God's green earth.
Well, racing didn't stop at the Southern Iowa Speedway this week. We had racing going on literally all over the continental United States, and
it was everywhere.
I think DJ Verplu over there has some results for us. DJ, you want to lead off on that and get us caught up on what went around in the motorsports world around the country?
Yeah, we'll get us started. World of Outlaws are in Charlotte, North Carolina, the dirt track of Charlotte for the Patriot Nationals. Friday night, A-Main was pretty fun. It's always good when you have a NASCAR weekend and the Outlaws are there, so you
Hopefully draws a crowd
get some
in.
Cup drivers and some sprint cars, let them have some real fun.
Exactly.
But-
Nobody's going to argue that.
No. Kyle Larson and Ricky Stenhouse are there in a car, and it was a fun A-Main to watch. Kyle Larson started on the pole, he won the dash, and he pulled away for a little bit, but I tell you, that kid Gio Selzy.
Gio Selzy's going to be
he
the
can
next.
wheel.
He's going to be the next superstar
He
in
can
sprint
wheel.
car racing.
He reeled in
That had
Kyle
to
Larson, passed him about 4 to go, and it was just all Gio from there. And then Kyle Larson second, Logan Schuhart third, who he's on a roll too.
Yeah, he's
So
very
Shark
very
Racing. They got
consistent
something
right now.
figured out.
And that's really good to see from them guys because they struggled for several years to get to an elite outlaw level program, and now
Yeah,
they're.
it's great to see them succeed.
It is.
Yeah, that's a nice car, that Indy Race Parts car. I
Oh,
like how
that Selzy's in.
I like how they changed the color scheme.
It's a really competitive car too.
I really like how they changed it because before they were both green, and it's like people could not tell the cars apart.
So how did the feature break down, DJ?
Brad Sweet was fourth, David Gravel fifth, and then again Kyle Larson second, Logan Schuhart third. and 15 grand to win. So that's good payday for old Gio.
It was. Exactly.
That's a good payday. Then they had at it again Saturday night, and well, that was definitely an interesting feature Saturday night. I tell you,
track conditions were definitely a lot different.
She got a little abrasive, I think.
I think it did. Did you see some of the right rears after the race?
Yeah.
Of the guys who finished.
Yeah, man. I was watching, unfortunately, on the way home from Knoxville, but
exactly. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, but yeah, it was good. There were some hitters like Gravel, Donnie Schatz. He was right there, about third, running for the lead, and blew a right rear. David Gravel blew one. There were just cautions everywhere. I think
at one point in that race, coming towards the end, wasn't there like 4 cars that blew right rear tires?
Yeah, at the same time.
At the same time. I think the track just took too much
rubber. It was
rubber.
like Ian Madsen, Shane Stewart, and some other guys just at one time. So Logan Schuchart took the lead after that, and then James McFadden, he started towards the back, and he got lucky. He actually had some tire trouble before and went in the work area. So he had a fresh right rear. So
it bailed him out, having tire trouble early, so he had fresher right rear so he could finish.
Yeah.
I saw a photo of Schuchart's tire, and man,
it was pretty bald.
It looked like a drag slick, didn't it?
Oh man, I thought that's what it was. That was bad.
But yeah, he had it. Luckily that it held just enough air and didn't explode the tire that he could finish the race.
The last lap, McFadden was coming. He about caught him.
I didn't get to see that race. I was at Knoxville in the pits.
Yeah, unfortunately. But
well, unfortunately, I don't know about that.
So Logan Schuchart won, another $15,000 payout. Kerry Matson got third. Dave Blaney fourth. Buckeye Bullet top 5. That's pretty good.
That's strong run for Dave. He struggled in the sprint car the last couple of years.
Gio Selzy fifth, another top 5. I'd say a pretty solid weekend for him. The Outlaws are racing tonight. I think about an hour and a half or so. They're gonna have hot laps at Lawrenceburg. So
if you need something to do tonight, if you're all tuckered out from your Memorial Day activities, turn into Dirt Vision at 6 o'clock.
DirtVision.com. They'll
Shout
have
out
lap
to Dirt Vision.
lap.
Yeah, those guys are great. They do a great job. Every production I've seen of those guys is always
top notch,
top quality. They do a great job. Yeah. Great commentary too.
Yeah,
they always do a good job.
Ross Weiss has got him rolling. He's got it figured out.
Yeah, and I like how they cover Knoxville every week because that's great for the fans that can't.
Yeah, that's definitely good for Knoxville.
That really, I think
somebody
that's
like
really
Dirt Vision behind them.
That track.
Yeah, it's a great thing they got going on right now.
Yeah. Anyone that does it, Speed Shift, all those companies that go out and do that. I mean, kudos to all of them. Because
like, it's almost impossible not to be able to see a race around the country because there's IMCA TV, Speed Shift. I mean,
there's a ton of different
There's
carriers.
A ton. There's like Speed51.com.
USAC has its own carrier too.
Yeah, Flow Racing. USAC.
That's right.
You can watch
That's
USAC.
Right. I couldn't remember.
So it's great to see short track racing getting the recognition that it deserves. So.
Oh, yeah.
Even MAV TV when they cover.
When they cover, that's really cool when they cover live events. That really helps.
Yeah, it does.
Get some exposure for the race teams and for the drivers and stuff. So
yeah, I'd say so.
But DJ, what else do we have going on over there? I see you got a bunch of results wrote down over there for the entire weekend.
There's a lot. That same Friday night, the Outlaws were at Charlotte. The All-Star Circuit Champions were at Attica Raceway Park in Ohio, and Aaron Reitzel took home the win. Buddy Kofoid second, Cap Henry third. Sean Dancer fourth, and the Wild Child, Jack Hodenshield
still getting it done.
5.
I want to say something. Cap Henry, that guy has struggled for a little bit, it seems. He was in that Buffalo car, and you did not hear much.
He burst on the scene at Knoxville that one year and got into the Nationals and finished, I think, in the top 10, if I remember correctly.
Is he like 7th or something?
I don't know, somewhere in the top 10. But he's kind of struggled ever since then. But I'd hope to see Cap getting a good ride and have good things go his way. So
yeah, I'd like to see things go for Cap. It looks like the program he's in now seems to be pretty good. That 4 car, you know, it seems odd for some of the drivers that aren't in necessarily the World of Outlaws anymore, like Saldana. He doesn't have a World of Outlaw ride right now, which is quite shocking.
Outlaw rides are really tough to come by, I think.
They are, and it's either you do good and you make it, or you don't do too good and then you don't.
Yeah.
And then you're out, and then you find something.
It's a tough deal.
I'll tell you what about a guy that we have to talk about who we didn't, on the national level, you didn't really hear a lot about up until this year, since he got into Ed Dumeister 11N, and that's Buddy Kofoid.
Oh, that kid just burst on this. He won the Trophy Cup, and
ever since then, he's just been
boom.
Yeah, he went to New Zealand and won some big races, too, and only 16, 17 years old.
He's not afraid to get up on the rip the lip. Boy.
He's like Gio Scelzi.
Just another California kid who can hop in a sprint car and
I think it just goes to show you that given the opportunity to those California kids, they're going to win you some races if you give them a chance.
Yeah, they will shine through. I mean, they are very good.
Who do we all have? I mean, you think about it, who's all come through California. You got Rico, you got Larson.
You got both the Scelzi brothers, because even Dominic is good too.
Gio and Dominic. Colby Copeland has really done a lot in a short amount of time as well.
Carson Macedo, he's a California kid.
Carson Macedo, he's got an outlaw ride full time now.
The problem is that there's so many. It's not like there's just a few that we can talk about.
And then you think
there's
about
so many. This could go on for hours.
Think about the guys from the past too. You know, the older guys who made a big dent. You know, you got the Kading family. The Kading family's won everything in sprint car racing.
Yeah.
You know, and you got Jason Myers, 2-time outlaw champions, come out of California. So I mean, they definitely California produces some really good sprint car drivers, winged and non-wing.
Well, they have some really good tracks out there too, and the weather's at that temp where they can race about year round. I think that's a big thing out there is that when you get into anywhere in the West Coast or even you go south, the seasons last a lot longer because of the weather climate. I mean, Iowa, we cannot race year round.
I don't know much about the climate of California. Never been there.
Well, I don't either. I'm just saying it seems like they're able to race a lot more of the season than in Iowa.
They've got a lot of bull rings, that's for sure. Fun tracks.
Yeah.
Tulare is about the most fun track you can watch.
A lot of short tracks. I think the All-Stars rained out Saturday night, DJ, but I think they were back in action last night, if I remember right, at Fremont Speedway.
Aaron Reitzel took home the win again. Paul McMahon looked like was running pretty strong in second, and they got something figured out in that Busch 13 car, but Aaron Reitzel, he's just on a whole nother level in the All-Stars. He's got something figured out. He's fast. He just passed.
He's a guy who
ran away.
Yeah, he's a guy who really burst onto the scene about 4 years ago at the Winter Showdown, or the Winter Heat Showdown, I should say, in Kokopah. Won a 410 race, then he goes on and wins the ASCS National Tour title. I think, did he win it twice or just once?
He may have won it twice, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Well, then he got hooked up with Boffman.
Nah, his 410 program just escalated.
Oh, yeah.
That Boffman is a good deal.
Then he won the All-Stars last year. And
I think he's won.
They got that beautiful facility in Knoxville.
Yeah, they bought Kenneric's old shop.
That's a very nice facility.
Yeah.
With Zeb Weiss on team with him now,
Zeb Weiss is a good young driver that they hired.
Good.
He was at the Indy 500.
Was he?
Yeah, he was down there with Pippa Mann.
Was he?
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, he was down there with Pippa.
Is Zeb Weiss going to be in the 360 car full time this year? Safe? Do you have any idea about that?
That's the one team guy I did not get to talk to you about. I do, and
I don't know. Were they even there?
I'm not sure they were there.
I don't think they were.
No, because he was at the Indy with Pippa.
Okay. So, but Boffman wasn't there, right?
They said last week on that whatever radio show KNIA does, they said that Bachman was going to run the last week that got rained out.
Okay.
I can confirm because I got to talk to him. Cool guy, Trey Starks. He will be at Knoxville all year. They want to win nationals this year.
Everybody wants to win.
They are focusing on Knoxville because he thinks, everyone thinks that's like the big ticket, and that's what that team is going for is winning.
The ultimate goal is to win the Knoxville Nationals for those guys.
Yes,
They're not too concerned about track points and stuff like that.
No, he said they will go back out after Knoxville season's done. They'll head back out to PA, run with the posse for some shows out there, but strictly
National Open at the Grove and all that.
Yes, but they are strictly concerned about Knoxville this year. That is what they are trying to make their bread and butter.
Awesome.
So it's good to see. We have a lot of drivers that are wanting to come to Knoxville. We have
a lot of drivers that are
really good drivers,
shouting us out on the podcast, and we really, really appreciate that.
Yeah, I love the support.
Yeah, we do. I was there Saturday night. Got to talk to Eric Bridger.
Actually, yeah, you did. You had a great interview with Eric.
Yeah, and Eric was very excited.
Not to interrupt you or anything, but you did tell DJ and I. You have some potentially very big breaking news on the podcast that could really, I think a lot of you folks out there who are watching or who might be watching later would be really interested to hear. Safe, why don't you break this down?
Well, I was going to keep this a mystery.
Oh, mysteries are no fun.
I know. So, I think if you give anyone that has just that gift of gap of being able to go up and speak to anyone, obviously
you definitely have that.
It's definitely you.
Safe will walk up to anybody and just start talking.
If God's given you a talent, it is the talent to mingle with people.
Apparently, so I just a little bit of gift of gap. I did not think that hailstorm was going to be good at all. Turns out it ended up being one of the better things for me that day.
Yes, sir.
Well, first off, all the drivers that I was able to talk to, thank you all for saying that you've heard about us. Drivers came up. A lot of praise. I don't think we really realize who ends up listening to this sometimes because they don't necessarily watch it when we're live. They watch it after the fact. A lot of shout-outs from a lot of drivers. So I want to thank them. A lot of them said, hey, we'd like to be on the show, or give me a call sometime. We'll get something worked out. And one of our biggest supporters actually is Joe Beaver.
That's pretty cool.
He's going to try to get us a piece so we can have in the backdrop for one of his cars, which is awesome.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Shout out to Joe Beaver.
Thank you, Joe.
Eric Bridger, another one. He really wanted to plug us. He wants to come on. Some of the other guys. So anyway, back to the gift of gap here. We were down by the concession stand and ran into Lasowski. Danny Lasowski.
He's helping Mason Daniel out, I think.
Yeah, crew chiefing. Owns the car. I mean, he does. I think he owned that car, if I'm right. I think he owned the equipment.
Anyway, what happened?
So I just decided to walk up to him, and I'm thinking, hey, Danny, how's it going? He's like, oh, good, man. And then I was just going to keep on walking after that. And then I thought, this is,
go for it, man.
You know what? Why don't you just do it? Why don't we just do this safe? So I gave myself I give myself a little pep talk.
A little pep talk in your head.
A little pep talk before I do anything.
A little psych up.
Before I do the podcast, before I go to work every morning, before I do anything, it's just kind of like this mental reset. I give myself like, let's own this. We're gonna own this thing. Let's go.
Grafke.
You ready to do this? Yeah, we're ready to do this. So we just went out, and I just went over to him and said, hey. I said, my buddies and I started this podcast. Would you be interested in doing an interview?
Keep in mind, folks, this is a 4-time Knoxville Nationals champion. The 2001 Outlaw champion.
I don't even know how many times he won the track champion at Knoxville, like 20-some times.
No, probably like 10.
I thought it was more than that.
I don't think it's quite 20-something.
Be about every year.
Yeah. Anyway, so I just am like, hey, I said, would you want to do an interview? My buddies and I had started this podcast, and he's like, yeah, call my cell phone. And I'm like, I don't have your cell phone number. And he's like, oh, well, here's my cell phone number. And he very, slowly make sure I put it in my phone right. And he's like, all right, man, just give me a call in a couple of weeks or something. I'm like, yeah, I really appreciate it. And I'm like,
so potentially Danny Lasowski is going to be a guest here on the Dirt and Asphalt podcast here coming up in the next couple of weeks. So
yeah, and
we'll keep you all posted and updated on that.
And we have a long list of drivers from Knoxville, long list, and that list is probably only going to get longer.
I was told from a source of mine that if I've been in communication just like you two have as well, that we could possibly in the future have David Hesmer and Bobby Santos on our show as well. So that would be really, really cool. And I think DJ was talking to, was it Justin Cox?
Yeah, Justin Cox. He's a 360. He runs a Sprint Car Challenge store and the NARC 410 in California, 31C. He drives all sorts of cars.
So we have a really long potential guest list coming up here in the next couple months on the show. So stay tuned to all that.
And real quick, any drivers out there that are listening right now, if you are interested, either inbox the page, inbox DJ, Alex, or myself. We would love to help you out. We're currently, because we've had a few favors for this, for graphics to put on your cars. Working with a buddy that does graphic design. Hopefully we can get a logo made up. We can get some stickers made, some other merchandise. So that's kind of our next step right now, though. We're
still crawling.
Yeah,
we're getting there.
We're walking now.
As you can tell, every time you've probably watched this in the 3 episodes, there's always an improvement. So working very hard in the off week to get everything ready for this, change everything, so it's not just better for us here, but better for our viewers. And
Absolutely.
you know, that's just where we're trying to go with this, is make something better every time you watch this show. It's never going to be the same twice.
Absolutely. We're constantly trying to make gains. We're trying to cover motorsports better, be more informed on topics, and you know, Safe does an excellent job of working on the technical side of things, and it's kind of his area of expertise. DJ and I, we're just kind of hands off and let Safe do his thing on that.
I wouldn't know anything about
it's not
sound and all that.
It's not too bad.
But what else you got there, DJ? I think the ASCS tour, the Lucas Oil ASCS, was in Eldon, Missouri this weekend for a doubleheader.
Yeah, Saturday they were in, like you said, Lake Ozark Speedway in Eldon. Sam Haferty took home the win. Roger Crockett second. John Carney the second, third. Miles Paulus fourth, and Evan Martin fifth.
And then I think they raced last night, Sunday. I think last night, same track.
Yeah, John Carney the second took home the win that night.
How'd the top 5 shake down, DJ? We gotta go. We're technical difficulties.
Not quite technical, just so many results here on the paper.
Yeah, we swamped ourselves with results, guys.
Tell you what, while he's looking for that real quick, there were some great races in the area. Shout out to the Vandenberg boys.
Yeah.
They went to Harlan, and then
they survived a trip up north.
Yeah.
There were some great races, it sounded like, up in northern Iowa.
I've got all the results for that. We'll talk about that later in the show.
Perfect.
We'll get set up on that. Actually, I think we'll just go into it, too. Another series that had a great Memorial Day weekend was the United States Modified Touring Series, run by Todd Staley. You know, they do a great job at what they do, and they were on a 3-day swing this weekend up through northern Iowa, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. And Friday night, they invaded the Mississippi Thunder Speedway in Fountain City, Wisconsin, a track they go to familiarly multiple times a year, I believe. And picking up the win on that night was the 24 of Brad Waits out of Minnesota. And for those who follow the USMTS Tour, Brad Waits was a big household name, you know, just 4, 5, 6 years ago on the tour. And it actually was his first win in over 4 years with the USMTS, to the day, I think, even, that Brad Waits picked up the win. Jake O'Neill in car number 0 came home second. Rodney Sanders was third in car 20. Ryan Gustin came home in the 4th spot. And the hard charger on the night was the 33Z of Zach Vanderbeek. Zach is actually from New Sharon, Iowa. He's a local native who runs the tour full-time. So he started 17th and came home 5th. And that paid $3,000 to win. So congratulations to Brad Waits on ending the drought with the USMTS.
Yeah, that's awesome. Zach, great driver out of New Sharon. They build
Vanderbilt chassis.
Yeah, those are some good cars.
Yeah,
a lot of guys seem to like those.
I believe Brad Waits was actually in a Vanderbilt built car.
He was.
Yeah, try saying that twice. Vanderbilt built.
Vanderbilt built.
Yep.
Vanderbeek built a Vanderbilt car.
He did.
No, that's a great. The guys up there, Zach and JD Gresham, they do a great job building those cars. I mean,
they seem to work very well, and they've had early success so far, early stages of the Vanderbilt car. So
it's a process. I've been up there several times, and
Caden Carter runs a Vanderbilt.
Caden Carter in the modified. A lot of guys. I don't know how many clients they have, but they seem to do well. So.
Seems like on their Facebook page they're posting winners about every other day.
I think both of the Scott boys run.
I think
Johnny
the one Scott brother,
Stormy.
I believe, no longer races. I think I could be wrong.
Stormy.
Stormy runs a late model. He's in an open late model now.
Okay.
Running that. I don't know if it's the Outlaw Tour or the Lucas Oil Tour. I'm not sure.
I think it's the Lucas Oil.
It might be Lucas Oil. I'm not sure.
I could be wrong. I don't quite remember.
We could be wrong on a lot of things, folks.
Don't quote us. Ever.
Bear with us.
Don't quote us unless we have it in front of us.
But the action for the USMTS did not stop in Fountain City, Wisconsin. They actually Saturday night were at the Deer Creek Speedway in Spring Valley, Minnesota, another track where they frequent quite often. And it was Mike Sorensen in the car number 19 picking up the $3,000 win for the USMTS. Hunter Marriott in the car number 62 came home second. I believe Hunter is running for Rookie of the Year in that series and might be leading Rookie of the Year in that series. But Ryan Gustin from Marshalltown, Iowa in the 19R came home third. Brandon Davis in the 50 Triple I came home fourth. And again, Zach Vanderbeek with another strong run in the 33Z from 14th, rounded out the top 5. So
quick car.
Yeah, very quick. Congratulations to Mike Sorensen on picking up the win.
Yeah.
Big win for him. And actually, last night, to kind of cap off the USMTS portion of the show here, well, I think, Sunday night, they were at the Upper Iowa Speedway in Decorah, Iowa, and it was I believe it was the 0 of Jake O'Neill picking up the victory. I think you might have the results over there, DJ, on your page for that one.
Yeah, it's on this page.
Yeah, DJ's going to give you the field rundown on that one.
Well, I'm more of a sprint car guy, but...
DJ's getting out of his comfort zone, folks.
No, it's all good. Jake O'Neill, the 0, as you said, won from 5th. The 6200 Marriott got 2nd from 4th. Rodney Sanders got 3rd, and Ryan Gustin 4th, and Derek Ramirez rounded out the top 5, and Zach Vanderbeek got 6th.
Got 6th. Yeah, I believe they were kind of short on cars last night at Decorah. I believe they only had 16 cars total, but... Man. 16 cars, the USMTS circuit is still pulling an amazing show.
It's still 16 strong cars.
Strongest modified field in the country, probably.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's that USMTS deal. Todd Staley does a great job.
He does.
They always get backed up by a lot of great sponsors, a lot of big payouts.
Probably the fastest growing modified series in the country.
Oh, I'd say so, hands down.
By far.
Hands down.
They do a great job promoting that show. Safe. I think you have a lot of results from Pennsylvania this week. They always have a great weekly competition series out there in Pennsylvania, and I think they had a couple big races this week out at Williams Grove and Port Royal. So why don't you break some of that down for us?
So Williams Grove, and they had the Len Paxton Memorial on Friday night. Looks like Raymer got first, Danny Dietrich second, Lucas Wolf third, Ryan Smith in the fourth, and TJ Sutts in the fifth, and then Monteith got sixth. Those are some strong posse guys right there.
PA's a strong field anywhere you go. It's crazy.
Usually, I started reading this top 5, and I'm like, well, that seemed pretty obvious, honestly.
How about Freddie Raymer? That's a kid who's come on strong the last couple of years.
Man, this is the thing with Freddie. He is Mr. Inconsistent. I will tell you that. It seems like I either hear him in the front or he's towards the rear. I'm not saying that in a bad way. It just seems like he's either on that night or
he's calling you out, Freddie.
I'm not trying to call him out.
Saying you need to be more consistent.
No. I'm just saying, it just seems like every time I hear his name, it's either in the front or it's towards the rear, which necessarily isn't a bad thing. This guy picks up wins, though. When he wins them in style.
Won a lot of big races.
Exactly.
Yeah, took home an outlaw win last year.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to put him down. I'm just saying every time I've heard him, it's either one or the other. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. There's a lot of guys like that. But it all really depends on how you time trial that day.
Yeah,
time trials,
really
it either makes you or it breaks you.
I agree with that. Can't argue at that point.
And it depends on the invert. It depends on like a million thousand different things.
A million thousand different reasons.
Different
reasons. That's a wide variety of variables.
It is. I tell you what. So let's jump over to Lincoln Speedway. They ran on the 25th, so that would have been Saturday.
Would have been on Saturday night.
Brian Monteith got first, Colton Young second, Trey Hevner in third, Gildan Forsyth in fourth, and Adam Wilt in fifth.
Another very tough weekly competition in that Lincoln Speedway. I mean, you guys want to watch a 410 sprint car race. Everybody needs to get out to Central Pennsylvania at some point.
Any track, any night, any given night, they can be running 3 tracks at a time, and every track's going to have a strong field of 410s. It's crazy.
Strong field and strong crowd.
They love their sprint car racing.
Very passionate about sprint
car
racing.
They love their sprint car racing.
And they will travel. You see a lot of these guys.
They don't call them the Pennsylvania Posse for nothing.
They will travel. They come to Knoxville for the
Speaking
Nationals.
of coming to Knoxville this year,
we know.
I think we have. DJ has a big. I mean, it's not really. Yeah. It's not breaking here, but it's one of the widely discussed topics.
69K.
They're coming to Knoxville.
The dream team from Pennsylvania is finally coming. I mean, they've come before, but it's been quite some time.
Years. I'm not sure they've come with Lance DeWeese.
No, they haven't. I think the last time was Don Kreitz Jr. was racing.
Okay, and I think he owns a car still, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Okay.
See, he was here. He didn't race, though, but they had the car for when he got inducted into the Hall of Fame. They had that car.
They didn't have it here. He just flew out here.
That's right. I thought they brought the car.
No.
I don't know.
Okay,
I'm not sure. But
how about I think they're going to be in Knoxville in 2 weeks for the Brown Hills Big Guns Bash.
Yeah, coming both nights for that. And I think they also have Nationals Week, the Cappy Classic they're going to come run. And then the big show, Knoxville National, see how they can do.
That'd be awesome if they came to
fun to
Oski for the Monday night show.
Yeah,
Power Challenge. I doubt they will.
They could be a favorite to win any night they get on the racetrack here in Southern Iowa.
But we never. That's the thing. No one knows how they're going to perform out here. A little obviously, it's outside of their zone. We'll see how they do.
Well, they're definitely venturing out this year. They're going to Eldora for the King's Royal. And
they're definitely prepared. Speaking of the King's Royal, there's another huge news story right now.
Yeah.
And that is that this year, the 2019 King's Royal is going to pay $175,000 to the winner.
Big money.
Which makes it the richest paying sprint car race in the country, outdoing the Knoxville Nationals for most to win.
So here's a question then. Is Knoxville going to call them on that and raise their pay?
No.
I don't think
so. Knoxville's paying more, like, outright purse-wise.
See, that's the thing about the King's Royal thing I think a lot of people don't realize is, yeah, they're paying $175,000 to win, which obviously you go to win the race.
Yeah.
But it only pays $2,500 to start. It's still traditional pay from second place on
the
back.
The drop-off from first to second is
enormous.
A lot.
Whereas Knoxville, they paid $9,500 to start the A-Main on Saturday night. I mean, it pays more to basically start the C-Main at Knoxville on Saturday night than it does to start the King's Royal A-Main. So I think Knoxville, in my opinion, still got it going on. So.
Yeah.
Because I was reading comments and someone thought, would Knoxville, and I agree with this, that they won't. I just want everyone's opinion because I don't see any reason for them to do that because it's not going to help anything. It's already such a popular.
Yeah, it's the Knoxville Nationals.
It's the Nationals. I mean, the King Royal. Yes, the King Royal is big.
You guys want to hear an idea that I've kind of concocted in my head that in your head? No.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for this one.
No.
Get
I promise.
ready for this one.
It's a G-rated idea. I promise.
No disclaimers.
No. You don't have to turn your cameras off. This is legit. This is an idea I kind of thought of, and I've thought about it for a couple of years, and I think would make the Knoxville Nationals. I mean, it's already the premier sprint car race in the land, but it would make it to the next level. Okay, so Wednesday and Thursday night, you keep the Nationals traditional, your points, qualifying, all that stuff. Yeah. Friday night, you keep it the same way with the hard knocks qualifying, you lock 17 through 20 in the A-Main. I think after Friday night's racing, you bring up the top two in points on the front stretch, whoever that might be, I don't care who it is, and you give them the opportunity, just the front row, just the first two cars, you give them the opportunity to go to the tail of the E-Main, to go to the tail of the alphabet soup, and to win the Knoxville Nationals for $1 million.
Holy smokes.
I think you give them the opportunity. If they can come through the soup, through it all, and here's how I would do that. Here's how I would encourage people, how I would try and give, so they don't just go, oh, no, that's crazy, I don't want to do that. I think you lengthen the E, the D, and the C main by 5 laps each, and you give them every car they pass through the field, you give them an extra $500.
I'm sorry to say no one would want to do that because they want to win it. And if
$1 million,
$1 million,
you'd get somebody.
Could you imagine?
Well, there would be.
Could you imagine too the PR if Kyle Larson or Donnie Schatz are on the front row for Saturday night's Nationals and they take the opportunity to go to the tail for $1 million? It's kind of like the front row challenge on steroids.
Big time steroids.
Big time steroids on the biggest stage.
I feel.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
That'd be
sick.
Look at how many people though.
Kendra Jacobs, Knoxville, if you're watching, if you take my idea, all I want is just give me some credit. That's all I say.
So now that we have gone completely off of where we started, let's get back because
this is going with the flow.
This is in-depth conversation.
I know, I agree, but I got some Port Royal results here. I'd like to go.
Bob Weicker Memorial. Let's hear it.
I would like to go. Yeah.
So Knoxville, if you're listening, $1 million to go from the tail of the alphabet soup. You heard it here first. You heard it on the Dirt and Asphalt podcast.
Apparently this guy said it. Yeah.
I'll take responsibility for that crazy idea.
So going back to Pennsylvania, talking about the posse, they had the Bob Weichert Memorial. This was the Saturday because it's a 2-day show.
Yeah.
The top 5, we had Danny Dietrich, Logan Wagner, Ryan Smith, Lance DeWeese, and Lucas Wolf. And I'm looking at the list here, and by God, 22nd, Freddie Raymer with a DNF. I told you.
See?
I am not.
You were bagging on Freddie Raymer on the episode of the podcast.
Am I not? I'm just saying. I'm just trying to point out a fact.
Why are you doing Freddie like that?
I'm not doing Freddie like that. I'm just trying to point out a point that I have made. that it's either one or the other, and it's not bad. It's not bad. I'm not saying there's a problem with it. I'm just saying every time I've heard this kid's name, it's either one or the other, and I'm sticking to that.
I tell you what.
Obviously, I could not get in a sprint car because one, I don't think I would fit the best. Two, I do not know how to drive one, and I would be horrible. I'm not saying he's a bad driver. I'm not trying to bash him.
I hope not.
I was just trying to prove a point.
We ain't about that.
We don't do that on this podcast. If you want to go to the podcast that bashes people,
Chaz Thompson.
I think you all know where to go.
Dirt
We're
track
not
state
that
of
kind
mind.
of podcast.
I was just trying to prove my.
But another guy,
I
think you got to.
I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think another guy you have to shout out. What about Danny Dietrich, man?
That guy's always
on a roll.
fast.
He
Man,
is.
he is this year.
Bridgeport last Tuesday over the week.
One of the best world
he
outlaw
and Schatz
races.
duked it out. Like Schatz got by him, and it looked like Schatz was going to pull away, and Dietrich passed him
He
right
just
back
pulled him
by.
right back in. How about
Well,
yeah, he got off the front porch, but yeah, he's definitely been fast. He's already got 6 or 7 wins in Central Pennsylvania this year.
Well, then going into Sunday, we had Port Royal, Logan Wagner won, Dietrich second, Deweese third, Kyle Reinhardt in fourth, and Mike Wagner in fifth.
They had quite the rain delay. I think it waited about 3 hours before.
That's
got it
crazy.
rolled back in.
And speaking of rain delays, again, Knoxville.
Yeah, poor Knoxville, man. I'll tell you what.
That hail was bad.
I'll tell you what. At the rate
I was lucky I got into a trailer.
At the rate Knoxville's going, they're not even going to race till the Nationals.
Yeah, poor Safe was in the pits. I was up in one of the suites, and we just looked down and it's hail, and all I'm thinking is, oh, God, Safe's down there.
The sad part is it started hailing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about all those
It
race
was good
cars
sized
getting
hail,
dinged.
too.
It was. It was
Man.
bad. It was not fun. It was, like I said, we were lucky. Thank you to Mike Mayberry and his team for letting us into the trailer so
Shelter.
we did not get pelted with.
I don't think that hail
M&M
would have
size
killed
hail.
you, but you started to say killed. But
It would have. No, it was
Might
pretty.
have hurt,
It
but-
was the size of about a peanut M&M. A lot of top wings got ruined. A lot of top rings got ruined.
that's just normal wear and tear for those guys. It's no different than hitting a rock on the racetrack.
No different.
No different.
No different. No different. It's not just coming straight down out of the sky.
But no, I think they got most of qualifying in before the rain came, didn't they?
I think they got about halfway through the 410s. I think there were a couple cars.
Yeah, they got.
About halfway, I'd say.
They were
Maybe a
about
little
done
more
with
than
time
that.
trials.
Who was
Then just.
I think, not that it really matters because they didn't even get that much further. But who was quick time in the 2 classes that they?
Well, you mean the
Giles was quick time in 360s. wasn't he?
Giles was kick time in 360.
Ryan Giles.
Mike Ayers was fastest in the Pro Series,
Okay.
and the fastest in the 410 at the time by like 5/10 was Brownie. He was at
That's a
15.
lot.
He was at a 15.2, and the next guy was at a
AJ
15.5.
Moore.
It's like 3/10.
310. Oh, yeah.
It's close.
Oh,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. It's close.
Unfortunately,
As long as it's close.
You know, I counted safe and
Yeah.
You know what? That was Knoxville's 7th rainout already in 2019.
That's sad.
That's insane.
Well, I mean, the
Mother
thing
Nature
is-
is just not a race fan this year.
Well,
I just hope we don't break 93's record because they had 14 that year. So.
We're halfway there, folks.
Yeah.
Mother Nature, if you're listening, please stop raining.
For
if that
sure.
makes-
Well, the weather this week
gotta
doesn't look
ask.
promising either. Saturday did not look promising on the radar.
What's the rain chances?
It was pretty high. I want to say it was like
you-
60 or 70.
You gotta be kidding me.
Well, you
it
know,
changes throughout the
that's
whole.
the thing. I mean, I would love to be a weatherman, get paid that much money, and be wrong almost all of the
Do you think
time.
they make a lot of money?
Oh, I think they do. I think they make
To
more
be wrong
than,
half the time.
to be wrong more than half the time.
Well, I'd like to be a weatherman then.
You would be a great weatherman.
Why, you think I'd pull a BS?
No, I just think you'd be able to. I think you'd be able to analyze it well, and then.
Just talk about what's going on. All right, I got to
Yeah.
sit through my results here. I think DJ's got some more results for us over there.
Yeah, Sunday night at Fremont Speedway in Fremont, Ohio, the All-Star Circuit champions were there, and I think they got through everything but their dash, the B, and the A, and they got some rain too. And I think that track sounds like did a great job and waited it out and
Decent.
ran the track in. Took about 3.5 hours, 4 hours, I think, but they got the show in, and Aaron Reitzel again continuing his dominating fashion.
Superman strikes again.
From 11th, I think he is the hard charger, 11th to 1st, and Paul McMahon got 2nd. Skylar G Christopher Bell, Craig Mintz, Greg Wilson, Tim Schaefer, Spencer Baston, Brandon Spithaller, and Dale Blaney. So
That was your top 10?
top 10.
G's fast. That's Skylar G.
Yeah,
He's pretty good everywhere he goes.
He's running for Rookie of the Year at the All-Stars this year, I believe.
I think so. He was at Knoxville a couple times last year, right?
Yeah, I think
He was there this year.
because he was running. I think he was running ASCS Tour last year.
Yeah.
And then jumped up to 410s this year. So
I don't blame him.
he, where's he from? Washington,
Washington.
I guess I don't know
Oregon,
for sure.
or Washington, somewhere out in the
probably
northwest
somewhere
corner
around
of the
there.
country. But
I thought he was from Canada. Or I'm thinking of someone else.
Robbie, isn't that Robbie Price from Canada who runs
Yeah,
ASCS
that's
Tour?
what I'm thinking of.
Maybe not. I don't know. Sorry, Robbie, if you're not from Canada. Sorry about that. But let's see here. Where else? I mean, they were racing all over the country. Obviously, we had the Indy 500 and the Coca-Cola 600. I mean, that Indy 500. Let's talk about that. That was one of the best races the last 10 laps that I've ever seen.
I'll let you guys talk about it. I didn't get to see a single thing on it.
Alex probably
out.
saw more than I did.
I'm out. Wanders, this is good.
I caught the
This
last
is
20
all
laps or so.
Alex
This is
Wanders
all Alex
show right
Wanders
there.
here. Oh, boy, this is going to be scary.
Here we
But
go.
Plug your ears, hide your wife, hide your kids. We're going to go talk about the Indy 500.
And hide your husband.
What? All right, anyway.
Oh, never mind.
Indy 500 this year, the 103rd running of the race, big crowd, 300,000 plus. It was Simon Pagenaud, the Frenchman, picking up his first win in the greatest race in the world. He won for Roger Penske. That was Penske's 18th win in the Indy 500, which I believe is a team owner record.
That's crazy.
And for those of you who saw the race, which I'm going to assume a lot of people saw the race, Simon Pagenaud and Alexander Rossi, the 2016 winner of the event, just went at each other.
Yeah,
the
that
last
was fun
10
to
laps.
watch. I caught the last 20 or so.
Did you see all the drafting they were doing?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they were just working the draft to just perfection. Another team we want to shout out, kind of has dirt track roots, would be the Clausen Marshall team with driver Pippa Mann behind the wheel. She came home 16th, I believe, in the race, which for them, a team with basically no budget. I mean, a low budget, not no budget, but with a low budget, coming home, finishing the race, getting 16th. That's definitely a monumental achievement for those guys. So, Indy 500
that's really cool.
was spectacular. I mean, I'm not sure how Indy's going to be able to top that.
Didn't Stenhouse Marshall have a car in that?
That's Clausen Marshall.
Is it? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yep.
What happened to Chris Windham? Had a bad weekend.
Yeah, that was horrible.
He wrecked in the Indy Lights. And
He's lucky to still be walking right now.
Yeah, he had some hard crashes.
That was bad.
Where did where was that? It was the Hoosier 100, but
Hoosier 100, he was on the front. He was coming down the front stretch.
Some say he was going 130.
His right rear blew, and he just went straight into the wall and
That's
just went
another-
for a tumble.
I saw a video of that. That was scary.
His
That
car
was
was
seriously
so
one of the
bent
scariest
up.
things.
I've never seen a sprint car bent that bad,
Yeah,
or
that
a
was
silver crown
bad.
car bent that bad.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
Someone said that the little 500 that ran. Someone said the guy that won that was the only car on the lead lap.
It could have been. Who won the little 500? Oh, Cody Swanson. I
Yeah,
think,
he's a freaking.
won the little 500. He dominates that.
He dominates asphalt. Like honestly, I'm surprised he hasn't gotten a chance at an IndyCar ride somewhere because those asphalt races, he's just on top of
he
it.
takes it to him. Yeah, and then Wyndham wrecked. Was it on Saturday in the Indy Lights race at Indy?
Yeah, some guy spun out in front of him. He just had nowhere to go.
That was only 2 laps into the race, wasn't it?
Yep.
So that's just heartbreaking for that guy because that was a great opportunity for Chris maybe to get an IndyCar ride, and it just, I think he's a great driver. He'll get an opportunity someday.
Oh, yeah.
I hope so. But obviously, then to cap off the night and the greatest day in motorsports was the 60th running of the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and I think was it Martin Truex Jr. got the win.
Yeah.
See, I didn't. This is all you guys because I didn't see much of the Coke 600.
Truex Jr. won, Logano second, Kyle Busch third, Chase Elliott fourth, Ricky Stenhouse fifth. I watched here and there, in and out, kind of. I caught the last 40 laps.
It's kind of hard to watch the middle of that race.
Yeah,
It gets
It-
strung out.
it's a long race.
What race?
The Coca-Cola 600.
I didn't watch it.
You heard it here first, folks. Safe
The last
is on a
40
racing podcast and didn't watch the race.
Well, I have cable. Okay. Back to this real quick. Right here, it's true. Cody Swanson was the only car left on the lead lap.
Yeah, I believe it.
That's
he's
crazy.
good.
That would be fun to
he's
beat
just
somebody.
fast.
I can't imagine watching a race and it's like, oh yeah, he lapped such and such. Oh, that was second place he lapped, and then boom. I mean,
Could you imagine winning a race by a lap? That'd be
insane.
That'd be the coolest feeling in the entire world. Knowing you just kicked everybody's butt that
They
bad.
used to do it back in the day in NASCAR.
Yeah, I think there's guys that used to beat them by 7 or 8 laps back before they
Yeah.
had transponders and all that. But Yeah, we had another thing too. I mean, who won? Oh yeah, the Grand Prix in Monaco. I almost forgot about that. Lewis Hamilton won that, I think, didn't he?
Yeah.
And that's all I know about.
That's all I know.
Good for him. I'm glad
That's
he won.
about all you need to know about
Lewis
Formula
Hamilton,
One.
he's
Is
a good
Lewis
driver.
Hamilton wins.
I don't know.
About the only one I even know anymore. Lewis Hamilton, just because he's on TV all the time. That's about it, to be honest with you.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Sure,
Yeah.
say
I
so.
mean, I don't know.
That's your Formula One breakdown on the Dirt and Asphalt podcast.
Yeah, but the Coke 600, it was pretty good racing. I caught the first in, and then last 40 laps is what I turned on flipped it over just to see how far they were, and Truex and Chase Elliott were going at it, and then Larson got up to third, and on a restart he just got in some bad air, and Truex kind of cut his air off, and he fell back to like 8th, and then the next lap he just...
Did he smoke the fence?
No, he didn't smoke the fence. He just kind of lost control of his car and pushed up the track.
Didn't he hit Boyer?
Yeah, he clipped Boyer's hood and then spun out, and then he caught Austin Dillon and
that
Ty
sucks.
Dillon.
I like Clint
That
Boyer.
kid just has, shouldn't call him that kid, he's older than me, but Larson just has no luck in the Cup car. Just none.
Yeah, he won the
He
million.
either
but
wins
other than
or it's something else, and I'm not gonna say who else that's like because I've already gone over that three
Who, Ricky
times.
Stenhouse Jr.?
No,
Oh.
either first or
win
not
very
doing
he,
too
he
good.
actually looked decent
FR.
Sunday
That's
night.
how I'm gonna.
Are you talking about Freddie?
Yes.
Why
on this again.
I told you I wasn't gonna bring it up. You brought it up that time.
Well,
That's
I
on
had to,
you.
I had to make
That's
sure.
on you.
I had to
That's
make sure.
on you.
Okay.
Come on, one.
It got interesting though because they had a pit stop late, and like David Reagan and some other guys stayed out, and they were in the lead with about 5 to go, and
Just
they said Truex's crew spotter talked to their spotter and asked them if they wanted to fall back and let Truex take the lead, and they were like, "Heck no, there's 5 to go. We're gonna go for this."
They just
And
didn't have the
You might as
tires.
well. I mean,
they didn't
who
have the
cares?
tires or nothing. They were in the lead with 5 to go, so they went for it. And I mean, it was good. Like Truex had to make a move like 4 wide to get by him. It was crazy.
If you're gonna go for it, just go for it. I mean, there's no.
There's
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I mean, at
I mean,
that
I
point,
wouldn't let someone
Yeah.
buy.
I mean, if you're a low budget team and you got nothing to lose, you know, you're not up towards the front very often.
Take a gamble.
Yeah, and it's one of their crown jewel events, you know. Heck, go for it, you know.
I'd say even if you were a big
think
time
he
team,
ended
who
up
cares?
top
I'd
10.
Go for it.
Reagan did,
Yeah.
so it paid off. I mean, you want to win the race, but it paid off for those guys because they don't run in
Yeah,
the top 10
I was
very
gonna
often.
say.
So
I mean, no matter what, it's gonna.
it paid off. It worked.
That's the thing.
Awkward silence.
That's always the thing. It's always a gamble. You always gotta take that gamble if you,
You
want
gotta
to win.
risk it for the biscuit, safe.
Yeah, you gotta risk it for the biscuit. I mean, it's the
And
same
they
in
risked
dirt.
it. And they went
Same
for
in
it.
dirt track racing.
You gotta be in full sin mode all the time.
It's like in dirt track racing. You know, the amount of fuel you add to your car. Do you move the wing? Do you not move the wing?
That's
You
the
know.
questions for Carl Kinzer.
Carl.
Carl, what do you do with the setup on this thing?
I don't-
Mark needs it to turn.
There you go.
I'm just giving you a hard time saying it.
It's well, you know what I'm saying. It's always
It is. It's
just
all
a
kind of
gamble.
a guessing game.
And you just got to take it sometimes, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I agree.
Logano tried to get the sweep for Penske, but not quite.
Yeah, I don't think they've ever done that one
Yeah, no.
in the same day anyway.
They were saying that would have been the first, but
See, that's
Truex was just faster.
that's hard to believe for Roger Penske how much they've won
Yeah.
in all different aspects of motorsports. But well, we got a lot of local results to kind of break down here. We're not going to go too in depth, but we're going to kind of break it all down. I believe Saturday night at the Shelby County Speedway in Harlan, Iowa, they had a big Memorial Day special. They had 92 cars in competition. It was Jeff Stevens in the number 92 getting the win in the modifieds. Craig Reitz in the 1R came home second, and Brandon Monson in the number 12 rounded out the podium. They also had late models on tap. I believe they were IMC late models. I'm not sure 100% on that, but it was the 56T of Andrew Tilley getting the win, the 41 of Robbie Jorgensen coming home second, and the 83 of Jake Bridge in the third spot. Sport Compacts was the 61 JR of Denny Bergam Jr. The second spot was Chris. I have no idea how to say your name, Chris. Chris Van Siddle, and then Brian Van Siddle in the 15V came home in third.
Speaking of sport mods, not to interrupt you or anything,
No,
but
you're good, buddy.
Marshall Haynes, he's a supporter of the podcast, and
Big
he's
supporter.
got a page. We love Sport Compact. So any results, any news in the Sport Compact world around Iowa and regional,
He's
does a
your
great
guy.
job.
that's the place to
They
check
do
it
a
out.
great job with that page.
Yeah, they
really
do.
Very well thought out, meticulously planned out. I mean, they do a great job with the results.
He's a good dude. We really
Yeah, he
appreciate
is.
his support.
Thanks for the support,
So
Marshall.
go over, if like DJ said, Sport Compact fan, go over and support his page. He'll have all the updates for you. In the Sport Mod division up there at Harlan, it was the 777 of Cody Olson picking up the win. Kevin Zeitner in the 60 came home in the second spot. Jared Weston in the 86J came home third. Two local drivers, Carter Vandenberg in the 7B coming home in the fourth spot off the big win at Oskaloosa. And it was Shane Paris in the 17C running out the top 5.
Oh, that's good. Shane's a good guy.
He is.
He's a cool guy.
He's really competitive in that Sport Mod. Coming out of the stock car division.
He's gotten a lot better. He's gotten a lot better.
Moved down, or down, up, the way you look at it, into the Sport Mod division, out of the stock car division.
He runs a Jet.
Is it? No. What kind of sport? That's what Sport Mod car he runs?
Yeah, he runs Jet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I'll take your word for it.
They do a good job with that car. Jet helps. The guy that runs Jet helps him out a lot. They do a really.
You ever
good job
talk to Shane quite a bit?
Yeah, Shane's a really cool guy. I've had some really cool conversations with him.
Raced against Shane, helping Carter race against him a lot. Good guy, clean racer.
Yeah, they were in a convoy, from what I was told from Carter. They had
Yeah,
a
I saw that
convoy,
on
the two
Facebook.
Vandenbergs and Shane all together traveling. That would be a good time. Just ignore the dog.
Ignore the dog, folks.
Just ignore the dog.
And finally, to wrap up what happened in Harlan the other night, it was the 63 of Mike Nichols winning the stock car, and that's a guy who just dominates the IMCA stock car division everywhere he goes.
He's really good at Boone, too.
Yeah, he's good everywhere.
Yeah.
Wish he'd come to Oski more. Mike, if you hear us, come to Oski. Brian Blessington in the 92B came home second. Dusty Van Horn in the 33VH came home third. The 3 of Mike Albertson fourth, and Alex Stapleton in the 8A came home fifth. And that's to wrap up the action at the Shelby County Speedway in Harlan for Saturday night. And you guys want to help me break down the Boone results, because we had a huge field of cars at the Boone Speedway on Saturday night. 172 cars in 6 classes.
Jeepers.
Isn't that
They
awesome?
do a good job at Boone.
Could you imagine having 172 cars at Oski weekly?
That's about 5 times.
It used to seem that a long time ago.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite that many, but they had.
Back when we were in diapers, maybe.
Yeah, when we were young.
Yeah.
Younger.
But, obviously the modified division is always the stronghold at the Boone Speedway, and they had a lot of hitters there on Saturday night. It was the 26J of Joel Rust picking up the win, and that was another big win for Joel. He picked up a 3,000 to win race at the Hamilton County Speedway on just a couple weeks back. 3,000 to win. Jimmy Gustin was second, and Mike Van Genderen in the 57V was third. Stock cars, the 8 of David Smith picked up the win. The 19J of Jay Schmidt came home second, and Devin Smith in the 81 came home third. In the sprint cars, it was the 48 of Tyler Thompson picking up the win. He used to compete weekly at the Knoxville Raceway. The 4L of Mike Hausman Jr. came home in second, and CJ Hausman in the 80X came home third. Race Saver sprint cars up there at Boone. What do you guys think about the Race Saver division?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Good racing.
It's like, never mind, I'm not going to go there.
You like it?
Saw
gonna go
Kid Higday was out there. He was racing.
Cade came home fourth.
Fourth?
So decent run, first time in a car for a little while.
Yeah, it's good to see him back in a car. Any type of sprint car for him. He can wheel. He's definitely not afraid to go after it.
No, he's in full send mode all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And then Sport Mods real quick. We'll go through that just real quick. Like Cam Reamers in the 21 got the win. Austin Schrage in the 14X came home second. And Jonathan Logue Jr. in the 69JR came home third. And, well, we'll just wrap it up here at Sports Park Raceway. Last night at Fort Dodge, they had a big special. Tim Ward won the modifieds in the 4TW. Shane DeMay in the 15M got second. And Nick Roberts in the 23 Junior got third. Stock cars, Devin Smith again on a strong tear right now.
On a roll.
Got a win. Luke Sadloff was second, and Bill Crimmins in the 35 came home third. Sport Mods was the 9 of Matthew Luft, the 82 of Jake McBurney, the 93 of Hunter Longnecker, and the 49 of Nate Whitehurst. And Carter Vandenberg, again in the 7B, rounded out the top 5.
That McBurney kid's pretty good.
Jake?
Yeah, he goes to Boone, and he seems to do very
wins a
well.
lot of races, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He seems to travel well and do well about everywhere he goes.
He won a pretty big race, didn't he, last year?
Yeah.
It was. I can't remember which one. It was.
I know what you're talking
up north,
about.
wasn't it?
Yeah. I can't remember. It was big money, at least.
Big money. I can't remember either.
It was huge money.
Wasn't the Harris Clash, was it?
No,
I think
don't think it was a Clash.
It may have been the Clash.
I think he won the Sport Mod Harris.
It was.
Yep, it was.
Yeah.
I think he did.
Carter had said something to me.
Because Caden won the modifieds.
Yeah.
I think Joe won the sport mod. Or Jake. Joe's his dad.
Yeah.
And Save, your favorite driver won the hobby stocks.
Who's that?
Shannon Anderson, 78. That's your buddy.
Yeah. Yep.
BFF.
You just gonna leave it at that? You're
He's
not
a
gonna
great
talk
guy.
about
Yeah,
Shannon?
he's a good guy. He wins a lot.
Man,
Good for him.
you gotta
he's
give
picked up
Shannon a
lot of
shout
wins.
out.
I did. He picks up a lot of wins. He's a good driver.
And then Sport Compacts, the 5 of Oliver Monson picked up the win. They had 120 cars in attendance, so that's all for me.
That's all I had, I think, actually.
That's all the results we had.
Yeah,
We
results
just had
wise. that's about
most
all
of
we
the
got.
show was results this week because we had so many.
We had
A
so
lot
many
of racing
results.
going on. It's not a bad problem to have.
No.
There's a lot of racing coming up this weekend as well, I believe.
The NHRA they're at Route 66.
That's Chicago, right?
Yep. 30th through the first 3 days.
Yeah, 3 days. Thursday.
Mansfield, Ohio, big $100,000 to win.
Oh, that's
Supercar
right.
World
That's
Championship.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
What are you guys thinking? 70, 80 cars probably showed up.
Oh,
for
it'll
that
be a
day?
pile.
more
It was a
than
pile
that,
last
yeah.
year. Tim Schaefer won last
Yeah.
year.
Probably 410 car count at Knoxville will probably be a little light this week again.
Yeah, I
because,
imagine
well,
Brown and maybe T-Mac and some other
Kerry.
people will eventually. Yeah,
Yeah.
Kerry will definitely probably be there.
So I talked to Brownie.
You did.
I said, well, I was shocked you didn't go to Charlotte and race. And the response was, well, I'm the one that really led for the Friday deal. So I think they would be pretty PO'd if I didn't show up and try to race Friday since this was my idea. I'm like, well, you know what? That's good. At least you're, that's good.
You know, you got to think about it too. You know, Brownie, Casey's is his title sponsor,
Yeah.
or the big sponsor.
Yeah.
And
Right.
there aren't really any Casey's, I think, down in North Carolina, so it probably
No.
wouldn't make much sense to go down there.
Like he usually ventures out to like Vegas and that, but that's usually the
Yeah.
FVP Platinum whatever
They'll go
Outlaw
to Jackson
Showdown.
and stuff. And
Yeah.
he went to Lake of the Ozarks.
Yeah, he was with the
So-
AOCS.
And I think the Outlaws have a big race in Nashville, too.
Oh
don't
yeah,
they?
the dirt track.
30
They
Yeah,
laid down the
that's
dirt there at
awesome.
Fairground Speedway.
First time they've raced there in
It'll be
quite a
interesting.
We
while.
have Outlaws, NHRA. We have Oski running.
Southern
weekly.
Iowa Speedway
Southern Iowa
Wednesday night,
Speedway.
their
Yep.
weekly program.
Come out there and support them. you
Yeah,
know.
for sure.
They've done a,
Knoxville Weekly show.
I know sometimes the car count doesn't show up, but really the last year or two, ever since they kind of got that committee together and they've kind of, as a team decided how they're going to run the racetrack and promote it, they've done a really good job, I think. And so if you're a hobby stock or a sport mod or stock car guy, sport compact guy in Southern Iowa in the area, and you're looking for a place to race, I know it's a midweek show, but you need to come to the Southern Iowa Speedway. They've got the track smooth and racing great again.
Oh yeah, they run a good program.
And it's
So we have Oski Wednesday night. We have the NHRA's running this weekend. We have Nashville with the World of Outlaws. I believe Webster City's running. Yeah,
They're
Webster
running Saturday
City's
night, I believe.
Saturday. Columbus Junction.
Friday. It's Marshalltown, I believe, on Friday night as
Yeah.
well.
There's just a lot of local tracks.
Lot
There's
of-
a lot of
lot of
tracks
great
you can
racing.
travel to. If you get bored, just go somewhere. You should go to a track you've never been to. I'd just say, you know what? We're just going to go here this weekend. Just put a couple on a dartboard and throw a dart and see where you land.
See where she sticks.
Yeah, it's not like they're not necessarily far away. They're not without reason.
No, not terribly far.
Hey, if you're a diehard race fan and you want to see some racing, you'll see some racing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's great racing. But, Oski Wednesday nights, the only track that runs on Wednesday nights, really, as far as I know.
Stewart Speedway.
Okay, I'm sorry, Stewart.
No.
But if you're in the
But
eastern
local.
side of Iowa, you better
Yeah.
come to
Yeah.
the Southern Iowa
Yeah,
Speedway.
for sure.
Just come support. If you're a local watching this, go out there and support. If you're a driver, go out with your car and race and support the track because, it almost got shut down. And
Well, and
no
that's
one wants that.
And see, that's-
no one
Definitely
wants
do
that.
not.
And that's
on that.
one of actually, I think, really the main goals of this podcast is to expose, get more exposure to more racetracks so that we get more people showing up. Because we don't want to see any weekly racing
No,
shut
not
down
at all.
anywhere in the country.
No, I don't care if it's an asphalt track, if it's like rallycross. I don't care what kind of racing it
Lawnmowers,
is.
for all I care.
It
Yeah.
could be lawnmowers. It could be an RC car.
Exactly.
By the way, go to Be Fast Raceway. Support those guys in Knoxville.
There you go.
Be Fast. Those
Just,
guys, that's
you never
kinda
know
cool.
who we're going to shout
That's
out or
actually
what we're going to
kinda
talk
cool.
about
No,
under an
you
Asphalt
never know.
podcast.
This has to be the most unorganized show you will ever watch. But we do not care
I don't know
about
about
that.
the most unorganized.
No, we're pretty unorganized, Wanders. Have you?
Hey,
Why
man,
does it matter?
Hey, man.
I know. I'm not saying it does. I'm just saying.
We don't care what it
we're gonna
is.
support.
It could be a late model, a sprint car, a modified, a lawnmower. Like we said, we're going to talk about it.
And on the page, it doesn't matter what it is. If they're racing, we'll try to have results from it.
Exactly. And see, that's another thing too, guys. If you're out there and you like the page and you follow us and whatnot, if you run a series or a weekly track, just try and message us, get a hold of us. We'd like to post those results on our pages, and make sure we just, like I said, expose more racing out there. So.
Yeah, and we'll try to plug teams too, because obviously,
for sure.
If you have a team page or
if you're willing to support us, we'll support you.
Yeah, and it's not even if you don't support us. If you are just a local guy that you're like, hey, this is our team. You mind just saying something, or you think you guys could set up an interview? Definitely, we are here to help you guys out, because if it weren't for the tracks, there would be no racing, and if there weren't for the drivers, there would be no tracks to have the racing. So the drivers, you guys are important. I mean, we sit here and talk about it. You guys go out there and actually do it. And if it weren't for you guys going out there and actually doing it, we would have nothing to talk about.
Yeah, we wouldn't have anything to say.
You see, it's a team effort.
You
guys race, you guys compete, and we share. We're kind of almost like not a news media organization or anything like that, but just we want to see the sport grow. We want to see it healthy.
Exactly.
All aspects of it. So.
All right, so guys, I think that's all we're gonna have time for today.
I'd say. Did we cover everything?
I think we covered everything that we humanly could cover.
You guys have any? Safe, we'll start with you. You're the main man here. You have any closing thoughts on the podcast today that you'd like to share?
I want to say thank you all for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Again, shout out to our veterans. If it weren't for you guys, we wouldn't be free. We wouldn't have everything we have. We wouldn't be able to do this. We would not have racing. So thank you to all of our veterans that have served, that are going to serve, and all that are no longer with us, to the families of those veterans. So thank you all, and thank you for our fans for listening. You guys help us make this happen. You guys give us praise. We really appreciate hearing feedback. Hearing feedback is important to us, because we listen to it and we think, yeah, this sounds, man, we're good. We're really good. And then someone, you're like, maybe you could do this a little different. It's like, you know what? Yeah, we should do that. We should work on that.
You learn as you go.
Exactly. So the more input you give us, the better it helps. Again, if you're a team, driver, sponsor, motor builder, something like that,
anybody,
get a hold of us so we can plug you. Get me set up an interview or something. Just help us, because we want to help you.
DJ, what do you have?
What's that? Well, it's a pretty big weekend of racing, sprint car wise, and weekly and stuff. But sprint car wise, it's a big week. It'll be interesting to see that big Mansfield race, 100 grand to win, a lot of cars. Should be fun to watch. I think that's going to be on Speed Shift TV. So if you're planning on watching that, check that out. And the Outlaws of Nashville, definitely an interesting thing. I think they ran Dirt Car ran a show there on the track, but I haven't seen any video. But I did see a video of the track, and
does it look pretty cool?
It's pretty cool, pretty flat. It's kind of a paperclip shape, but I mean, they should put on a good show there. 2-day show should be pretty good. Just hope Mother Nature cooperates this weekend. Just get out and support whatever track nearby. If you're within an hour of a racetrack that's having a show, just go out and support them. I mean, fill the stands, keep the tracks open, and just keep the support going. And thanks for watching and all that.
Absolutely. I guess to kind of piggyback off what Safe and DJ both said, first and foremost, thank you to the men and women of the United States military for protecting us and giving us the freedom to do what we do. This is what this holiday is all about, to remember the fallen and to also remember those who are still in service. Like DJ said, big weekend of motorsports all across the country. Another big weekend coming up with the big sprint car races in Ohio and Tennessee. One thing I always say, when we close the show is that, it also kind of piggybacks off what DJ just said. Short track racing as a whole across America is really healthy right now. It's doing really well. The National Touring Series at the dirt track level are doing really well. A lot of cars, a lot of fans, and I think the one thing we can all do as fans and as sponsors is obviously to endorse our sport, but it's to also put our butts in the seats and support it, support your local racetrack. Make sure, because you just never know what could happen, and that's pretty much all I've got to say right now. And follow us on Facebook if you haven't already. Please share our podcast, share our page.
We got a Twitter page going right now too.
We just started a Twitter page, Dirt and Asphalt. It's capital DIRTN_asphalt. If you want to follow us on Twitter, like DJ said, we'll try and keep all the updates with what's going on around the country on there as well. So we just really appreciate all your guys' support, all the kind things you guys say to all three of us. Anywhere we go, it's really cool to see you guys come up and say those kind of things to us. It makes this a lot of fun. We really enjoy what we're doing.
I'm having a blast doing this, just talking racing. It's fun.
Great.
Absolutely,
this is fun. Alrighty, well, that's all the time we have on the Dirt and Asphalt page. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great week, and keep her clean, keep her green.